I used to think that if I worked hard enough, saved smart enough, and proved myself capable enough, my family would finally see me, really see me, not as the backup plan, not as the emergency fund, not as the responsible one who could always be counted on to fix everyone else's mistakes. Just me. I was wrong. My name is Kristen Bennett. I'm 30 years old. I work as an event planner, and I'm good at it. Really good. I've built a career from the ground up, saved every penny I could, invested carefully, and created a life I'm proud of. A life that's mine. On paper, I'm everything parents dream their daughter would become: independent, stable, successful. But in my family, none of that mattered. Because I wasn't Tyler. Tyler is my younger brother. He's 26, and from the moment he was born, the sun rose and set on whatever Tyler wanted. New gaming console. Tyler got it. Car for his 16th birthday. Tyler got it. Even though I'd been taking the bus to my after-school job since I was 15. College tuition. They paid his in full while I worked 2 jobs and took out loans for mine. I told myself it was fine. I told myself it made me stronger. I told myself that one day, they'd notice everything I'd accomplished on my own, and they'd be proud. I kept telling myself that life or years. The pattern started small. $20 here for Tyler's gas. $50 there for his phone bill because he'd spent his paycheck on sneakers. $100 to help with rent when he blew his money at a casino. Each time my parents would call me with that same tone, urgent, desperate, like the world would end if I didn't step up. Kristen, honey, you know how Tyler is. He's still finding himself. You were always so much more responsible. You understand, right? And I did help. Every single time. Because that's what family does, right? You show up. You support each other. You don't keep score. Except they were keeping score. And I was always losing. By the time I turned 30, I'd given my family over $15,000. 15,000. I kept track even though I tried not to. Every birthday check I'd received as a teenager that somehow became a loan to help your brother. Every time I covered their bills when money was tight. Every emergency that was never really an emergency. Just another Tyler crisis that I was expected to solve. I never got a single dollar back. Not one, but I told myself it didn't matter. Family isn't about money. Family is about being there for each other. And I wanted so badly to believe that one day, they'd be there for me. My 30th birthday was going to be different, special. I'd planned everything myself, of course, because that's what I do. I'd reserved a private room at my favorite restaurant. Nothing extravagant, just intimate and meaningful. I'd invited my parents, Tyler, my grandmother, and a few close friends. I'd spent weeks coordinating schedules, confirming dietary restrictions, choosing the perfect menu. I wanted one night where I was the center of attention, where we celebrated something I'd accomplished, where I mattered. The morning of my birthday, I woke up excited. Actually excited. I put on the dress I'd been saving for a special occasion. I did my makeup carefully. I even splurged on a professional blowout. I wanted to feel beautiful. I wanted to feel celebrated. My phone buzzed at 2 in the afternoon. A text from my mom. Honey, something came up with Tyler. We might be a little late. Don't worry, we'll be there. A little late, okay. I could handle a little late. The reservation wasn't until 7. Plenty of time. At 5 o'clock, another text. Tyler's still dealing with his situation. We're really trying to make it work. Hang tight. Dealing with his situation. No details. No explanation. Just vague reassurance that somehow never actually reassured me. At 6:30, I was at the restaurant. My grandmother arrived first, impeccably dressed as always, with a knowing look in her eyes that made my stomach twist. She hugged me and whispered, "Whatever happens tonight, remember who you are." I didn't understand what she meant then. My friends arrived. We chatted. We laughed. We ordered drinks. I kept checking my phone, kept watching the door, kept making excuses. 7 o'clock came and went. Then 7:30. Then 8. At 8:15, my phone finally rang. My dad. Kristen, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. We're not going to make it tonight. The restaurant noise faded. Everything faded except his voice and the crushing weight in my chest. What happened? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Tyler bought a car today. Can you believe it? Finally got himself a vehicle. But there's some paperwork issues at the dealership, and we need to stay and help him sort it out. You understand, right? We'll celebrate your birthday this weekend, I promise. A car. Tyler bought a car, and my parents were at a dealership, helping him with paperwork. While I sat at a restaurant I'd reserved 2 months ago, wearing a dress that suddenly felt ridiculous, surrounded by people who'd actually shown up for me. Kristen, honey, you there? Yeah, I said. My voice sounded hollow. I'm here. You're not mad, are you? This is important for Tyler. He's really turning things around. Turning things around. Tyler was turning things around again. For the 100th time. And once again, I was expected to understand. To be patient. To not be mad. No, I lied. I'm not mad, that's my girl. We'll make it up to you, promise. He hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at nothing. My grandmother reached across the table and squeezed my hand. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. The look in her eyes said everything. This isn't okay. This has never been okay. And we both know it. We celebrated anyway. My friends made toasts. We ate amazing food. We laughed, and for moments at a time, I almost forgot the hollow ache in my chest. But every time I glanced at the empty chairs where my parents and brother should have been, the ache came rushing back. They never rescheduled. That weekend came and went. No call, no text, no belated birthday celebration. Just silence. Broken only by a text from my mom 3 days later asking if I could lend Tyler $500 for car insurance. Something cracked in me that day. Something I'd been holding together for years. All the excuses I'd made for them. All the times I'd told myself it was fine. That they loved me. That family is complicated. All of it shattered like glass. But I didn't say anything. Not yet. I just stopped answering as quickly. Stopped volunteering to help. Stopped making myself available for every crisis. They noticed. 2 weeks after my birthday, my mom called. Not texted, called, which meant it was serious. Kristen, we need to talk. Can you come over this weekend? What's this about? I asked. It's about Tyler and, well, it's better to discuss in person. This Saturday, round 2, every instinct screamed at me to say no, to make an excuse, to protect myself from whatever was coming. But some part of me, that desperate little girl who still wanted her parents' approval, made me say yes. Saturday came too quickly. I drove to my childhood home, my stomach churning the entire way. When I walked in, both my parents were sitting at the kitchen table. Tyler's bedroom door was closed. The house smelled like coffee and something stale I couldn't identify. Sit down, honey, my mom said. Her voice sugary sweet in that way that always preceded a request. I sat. My dad cleared his throat. We wanted to talk to you about Tyler's situation. What situation? I asked, even though I already knew this conversation would end with them asking me for money. My mom leaned forward. Her expression pained. Tyler's been going through a hard time financially. He's made some mistakes. Credit card debt. It's gotten a little out of hand. How much? I asked flatly. They exchanged a glance. That glance, the one that meant the number was going to be worse than I imagined. $10,000. My dad said. $10,000. I laughed. I actually laughed. It just came out, sharp and bitter. $10,000, I repeated. How does someone rack up $10,000 in credit card debt? It just happened, my mom said quickly. You know how it is. Expenses add up. He's trying to get his life together, but the interest is killing him. He can't get ahead, so pay it off, I said. You've helped him with everything else. Another glance. Longer this time. We would, my dad said slowly. But we're not in a position to take on that kind of debt right now. We were hoping, since you're doing so well financially, that maybe you could help. There it was, the ask. The real reason I was sitting at this table. You want me to give Tyler $10,000, I said. Not give. My mom corrected quickly. Loan, he'll pay you back. We'll make sure of it. I looked at them. Really looked at them. My mother, who'd missed my birthday for Tyler's car. My father, who'd never once asked how I was doing. Only what I could do for Tyler. Both of them sitting there, looking at me with expectation, like this was reasonable. Like this was just what I did. No, I said. The word hung in the air. No. My mom repeated like she'd misheard. No, I said again, stronger this time. I'm not giving Tyler $10,000. I'm not lending it either. No, my dad's expression hardened. Kristen, he's your brother. I know who he is. Family helps family, my mom added, her voice taking on that wounded tone. I've been helping for 10 years, I said, my voice rising. I've given you thousands of dollars, thousands, for Tyler's rent, Tyler's bills, Tyler's emergencies. I covered his car repairs 3 times. I paid for his textbooks in college. I've been helping, and I've never asked for a single thing back. We appreciate everything you've done, my dad said. But this is different. This is serious. His credit is being destroyed. Then he should have thought about that before he spent $10,000 he didn't have. You don't understand, my mom said, her eyes welling with tears. Real tears. She was good at this. He's drowning. The collectors are calling. He can't sleep. He's depressed. We're worried about him. And there it was. The trump card. Tyler's feelings. Tyler's well-being. Tyler's mental health. As if mine didn't matter. As if I hadn't been drowning under the weight of their expectations for years. I'm sorry he's struggling, I said, and I meant it. I did, but I'm not responsible for fixing his mistakes. So you're just going to let your brother suffer? My dad asked, his voice cold. I'm going to let him face the consequences of his choices. There's a difference. My mother stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. I can't believe you. After everything we've done for you. We raised you. We gave you a home. We loved you. And this is how you repay us. Something inside me snapped, clean, final. You missed my 30th birthday to watch Tyler buy a car, I said, my voice deadly calm. You've asked me for money 27 times in the last 3 years. 27. And you've asked me how I'm doing exactly twice. So don't talk to me about repaying you. That's not fair, my mom whispered. No, I agreed. It's not. None of this is fair. But I'm done pretending it is. I stood up. My legs felt shaky, but I forced them to hold me. I love you, I said. I love all of you. But I'm not doing this anymore. Figure out Tyler's debt yourselves. I walked out, got in my car, drove home, and then sitting in my apartment parking lot, I cried harder than I'd cried in years. Because saying no felt like freedom and abandonment all at once. They didn't contact me for 3 days. 3 blissful, terrifying days of silence. And then the text started. My mom. Please reconsider. We're begging you. Tyler needs help, my dad. You're being selfish. Family doesn't turn their back on each other. Tyler himself. Really, sis? You're gonna let me drown because you want to be petty? I didn't respond. I couldn't. Every message felt like a hook trying to pull me back in. Then my mom called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again, and again. On the 4th call I answered. What? My voice was exhausted. Kristen, please. We have a solution. Just hear us out. I'm listening. What if? What if Tyler linked his account to yours? Just temporarily. Just until he gets back on his feet. That way, you could help him manage his money and, absolutely not, I cut her off. Just listen. No, I'm not linking my bank account to Tyler's. Are you insane? It's not about linking accounts. She backpedaled quickly. Though that's exactly what she just suggested. It's about being a co-signer, just to help him consolidate his debt. Better interest rates. He'll make all the payments. You just be there as backup, I repeated. So when he doesn't make the payments, I'm responsible. He'll make the payments. No, Kristen Elizabeth Bennett, you listen to me. I hung up. My hand was shaking. I blocked my mom's number, then my dad's, then Tyler's. The silence that followed was deafening, and peaceful, and terrifying. I thought it was over. I really did. I thought they'd finally gotten the message. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, I got an alert on my phone. Someone had attempted to log into my bank account from an IP address I didn't recognize. 3 failed password attempts. My blood ran cold. I immediately changed all my passwords, enabled 2-factor authentication on everything, and called my bank to put alerts on all my accounts. Has anyone had access to your personal information? The bank representative asked. My family. I whispered. I didn't have proof. Not really, but I knew. Deep in my gut, I knew. The next day, Tyler posted on social media a long rambling post about family betrayal, about how his sister had abandoned him in his darkest hour, about how blood should mean something. The post didn't name me directly, but everyone knew. Friends from high school started unfriending me. Distant relatives sent me messages asking what was wrong with me. I didn't defend myself. I didn't engage. I just existed in the silence, in the peace of my own space, free from their chaos. My grandmother called. I heard what happened. She said, no preamble, no judgment, just acknowledgement. I'm sure they've told you their version, I said tiredly. They told me you refused to help Tyler. I told them good. I sat down, surprise cutting through my exhaustion. What good? She repeated firmly. I've watched them bleed you dry for years, Kristen. I've bitten my tongue because they're my daughter and grandson. But enough is enough. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe Tyler anything. Mom is furious with me, I said, my voice breaking. Your mother is furious that her safety net has holes now. She'll survive. Tyler will survive. And you, my darling girl, will finally get to live. I cried again. But this time the tears felt different, cleaner. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me. Just promise me you'll stand firm. They're going to try again. They always do. She was right. 1 month later, my parents showed up at my apartment. Unannounced. I looked through the peephole and saw them standing there. My dad holding papers, my mom's face drawn and tired. I didn't open the door. Kristen, we know you're in there. My dad called. Please. Just talk to us. We brought loan papers, my mom added. Official ones, with a payment plan and everything. Tyler will sign them. We'll witness. It'll be legally binding. I pressed my forehead against the door. Every part of me wanted to open it, wanted to believe that this time would be different, that they actually saw me, that they actually cared, but I knew better now. Go home. I called through the door. Kristen, please. I said no. I've said no. The answer is no. Go home. You're destroying this family. My dad shouted, his composure finally cracking. No, I said quietly. I'm saving myself. They stood there for another 10 minutes, knocking, pleading, my mom crying. And I stood on the other side of the door, tears streaming down my face, holding firm. Eventually, they left. I slid down the door and sat on my floor, hugging my knees. I felt like I'd been hollowed out, like everything I'd believed about family and love and loyalty had been scraped away, leaving just raw, painful truth. But underneath the pain, there was something else. Something small but growing: relief, freedom, peace. I wasn't their backup plan anymore. I wasn't their emergency fund. I wasn't the responsible one who could always be counted on to fix everything. I was just Kristen. And maybe, finally, that could be enough. The months that followed were strange, quiet. I threw myself into work, into hobbies I'd neglected, into friendships I'd let fade. I started therapy. Started unpacking years of conditioning and guilt and desperate people-pleasing. I learned that boundaries aren't cruel. That saying no isn't selfish. That protecting yourself isn't the same as abandoning others. I learned that I'd been carrying weight that was never mine to carry. Through my grandmother, I heard updates. Tyler's car was repossessed. He moved back in with our parents. They refinanced their house to pay off his credit cards. My dad took a second job. I felt bad. Of course I did. They're still my family. But I didn't swoop in to save them. I didn't offer money or advice or solutions. I let them handle their own situation, the one they'd created by enabling Tyler for 26 years. And slowly, gradually, I started to breathe easier. I made new friends. Real friends. People who saw me for who I was, not what I could provide. People who celebrated my successes instead of immediately asking what I could do for them. I started dating. Nothing serious. But it felt good to be seen as someone worthy of effort and attention. I traveled. Just weekend trips at first, but then a 2-week vacation to Italy that I'd been dreaming about for years. I stayed in nice hotels. I ate at amazing restaurants. I spent money on myself without guilt. I lived. 6 months after I cut them off, my mom sent an email. Not a text. An email, long, rambling, half apology, half justification. We never meant to make you feel used. We just needed help, and you were always so capable. We're sorry we missed your birthday. We're sorry we asked too much. But family forgives. Family moves forward. Tyler's doing better now. We're all doing better. Can we please try to rebuild? I read it 3 times. Looking for genuine understanding. Looking for real accountability. Looking for acknowledgement of the years of imbalance. It wasn't there. Just surface level sorry and immediate requests to move past it. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, Tyler sent a message. Short, direct. I get it now. I was a spoiled asshole. You had every right to cut us off. I'm working on getting my shit together. For real this time. No expectations. Just wanted you to know it wasn't much. But it was something, real, honest, no demands, no manipulation. I didn't respond to that either. Not yet, maybe not ever. But I saved it, just in case. My grandmother invited me to lunch. We sat at a cafe downtown, drinking overpriced coffee and eating pastries that dissolved on our tongues. Your mother asked me to talk to you, she said, not looking at me, and I asked, and I told her I'd do no such thing. What happens between you and them is your business. I'm not a messenger. I smiled. Thank you, however, she continued, a glint in her eye. I am allowed to tell you how proud I am of you. How much strength it takes to stand up to family. How much courage it takes to choose yourself. My eyes burned. It doesn't always feel courageous. Sometimes it just feels lonely. The right thing often does, she said softly. But lonely is better than used. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. What's this? I asked. Open it. Inside was a check, made out to me, for $10,000. I stared at it, confused. Grandma, I can't. It's not charity, she interrupted. It's what I should have given you years ago. All those times I watched them take from you, and I said nothing. Consider it back pay for being the strong one, the responsible one, the one who never asked for anything. I can't accept this, I whispered. You can, and you will. Use it for something that makes you happy. A trip, an investment, a ridiculously expensive handbag. I don't care. Just spend it on yourself. No guilt, no obligation. Promise me. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. I promised. She squeezed my hand. You're going to be okay, Kristen. Better than okay. You're going to be free. And she was right. 1 year after I said no to Tyler's debt, my life looked completely different. I'd been promoted at work. I'd moved to a better apartment with a view of the city. I'd traveled to 4 countries. I'd started painting again. Something I'd loved in college but abandoned because I was always too busy, too stressed, too focused on everyone else's emergencies. I'd built a life I didn't need to escape from. A life I actually wanted to wake up to. My phone rang one afternoon. A no number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Kristen. It's Tyler. I froze. We hadn't spoken in a year. I'm not calling to ask for anything, he said quickly. I wanted you to know I got a job. A real one. Steady income, benefits. I'm renting a room from a friend. I'm paying off my debt little by little. It's slow, but I'm doing it. That's good, I said carefully. I'm glad. I'm sorry, he said suddenly. For everything. For taking advantage. For letting them use you. For never standing up for you. I was a selfish prick. And you deserved better. The apology hung between us. Real, no excuses. No justifications. Thank you, I said softly. That means something. I don't expect you to forgive me, he continued. Or trust me. Or let me back in your life. I just needed to say it. You were right to cut us off. It was the wake-up call I needed. Our mom and dad. Still mad at you? Yeah, they don't get it. They probably never will. But that's their problem. Not yours. We talked for a few more minutes. Carefully. Politely. Like strangers finding common ground. And when we hung up I felt, not closure exactly, but something close to it. I didn't let him back in. Not fully. Trust takes time to rebuild, if it can be rebuilt at all. But I didn't block his number either. I left the door cracked. Just a little. My parents never apologized. They sent Christmas cards like nothing had happened. Generic messages about family and love and togetherness. I sent cards back. Equally generic. We existed in a polite, distant orbit. Neither close enough to hurt me nor far enough to fully sever the connection. It wasn't the family I'd dreamed of. But it was honest. And that was enough. 2 years after everything fell apart, I was planning an event for a client. High-end wedding. Beautiful venue. Every detail perfect. The bride was a sweet woman in her late 20s, stressed but excited. Desperate for everything to be flawless. During a planning meeting, her mother turned to me and said, "My daughter's wedding will be perfect. Absolutely perfect. When's your turn, dear?" The question was innocent, conversational, the kind of thing mothers ask young women at weddings. But something in me shifted. Some last piece of armor I didn't know I was still carrying. I smiled, calm, confident, free. It already happened, I said. The bride's mother looked confused. I didn't realize you were married. I'm not, I replied. But I married myself. Made a commitment to put myself first. To protect my peace. To build a life I love. And it's been perfect. The room went quiet for a moment. Then the bride laughed. A real, genuine laugh. That's the best thing I've ever heard, she said, and it was. Because it was true. I'd spent 30 years trying to earn love by being useful. By being dependable. By sacrificing myself on the altar of family expectations. And when I finally stopped, when I finally chose myself, I discovered something revolutionary. I was enough. Just as I was. Without giving. Without fixing. Without constantly proving my worth. I was enough. Now, I live in a spacious apartment filled with art I chose and furniture I love. I have friends who show up for birthdays and celebrations without being reminded. I travel when I want. I save money for myself. I make decisions based on what I want, not what others need from me. My grandmother and I have lunch every Sunday. Tyler and I exchange occasional texts. Polite, distant, but not hostile. My parents and I exist in the same world but separate orbits. Maybe someday that will change. Maybe it won't. Either way, I've made peace with it. Because I learned the hardest lesson of my life. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't fix families that don't think they're broken. And you can't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes family means chosen people, not blood. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. And sometimes the only person who can save you is yourself. So when people ask me about my family now, I smile and tell them the truth. I have a grandmother who sees me, friends who celebrate me, a life I've built brick by brick with my own hands, and I have myself. Finally, completely, unapologetically, that's my family now. And it's more than enough. It's everything.